West would be after intervening in the Middle East with Iraq and Afghanistan. They were predicting everything, how weak we'd be. So when they do launch their caliphate in Islamic State, we will not send our military in. Yeah? Then it gives a 4-year plan every 4 years of what they'll be doing. 2016, it says total confrontation with the non-believers. Now, what happened on New Year's Eve? New Year's Eve of 2016. What happened on the New Year's Eve? The first day of 2016, they attacked 1,000 women in Cologne alone. They attacked women across the whole of Europe. It actually, word for word, what he said, in Europe, our invading Islamic army will start full confrontation with the kuffar. What's the first thing they go for? The weakest people they go for are women, which is exactly what they did on New Year's Eve. And then they say there will be a 5-year battle where they will have complete war and confrontation with us. Anyone who looks at last week in Europe, we're at war. We're at war. This ain't going away. When people understand that the jihad, they haven't even launched their jihad yet. Not a proper jihad. When it's properly launched, we're dealing with 4%. We're dealing with a pathetic, small, poor 4%, and look at the chaos that they're bringing. So you think when Europe hits 20%, the Europe already that you think you know, or America thinks you know, has changed beyond belief. It's changed beyond belief. Everything's changing and turning in the way of Islam. And fully supporting it are our politicians and our political elite. And as the Islamic demographic grows, their vote bank politics will become stronger and stronger and stronger. And then, I know it's depressing, but we have a very difficult future.
No, I mean, you talked about why more people don't speak up. I mean, I made a video saying Islam's not religion of peace. It wasn't even that inflammatory. 7 months ago, I'm still getting death threats every week for a YouTube video. I mean, that's why people don't speak out, because if you criticize Islam and say it's not religion of peace, they send you messages, they give you threatening calls, they leave, notes saying, I'm going to prove Islam's a religion of peace by violently killing you. This is why reformists within Islam, ex-Muslims, don't want to speak out against it, because it's not fun getting death threats all the time. You had Ayaan Hirsi Ali's colleague, killed on the streets of Amsterdam, I think it was, simply for working with her on projects that try to reform Islam from within. It's an environment, that encourages intimidation and violent threats to anyone who questions this religion. Then you've got pressure from above. My cousin, who is gay, retweeted me when I criticized Saudi Arabia for executing gay people. He was hauled in, works for a major university, was hauled into a meeting and said, you can't even retweet that information because it might offend the Saudi Arabian students who are coming to our college. And, concurrent to this, they'll have gay pride marches and they'll fly a rainbow flag over the university. But God forbid you would actually try to criticize governments that execute homosexuals. That might offend somebody. That's bad. And so people are scared to talk out because they might get death threats. They might lose their lives, or at the very least, they might lose their jobs and their careers because of this public shaming culture. That's why the left is just as much to blame for this. Correct, Tommy?
I've experienced everything you've just spoke about. In my 5-6 years of leading English Defence League, I had school teachers on the phone in tears to me because what the left, and these are organisations that are funded by people supporting open borders, many of whom have funded them from America, such as Searchlight, Hope Not Hate. What they do is, say you've got a member of one of my organisations and he's making comments about Islam. Free speech, not inciting hate, just telling the truth about Islam. And he works for BMW, for example. Then they would screenshot everything. Then they would contact the HR department of BMW. These people are being paid to do this. They're being paid to do this, and it works. It's a tactic that works as well. Because before you know it, that's why when people use fake names, I get a lot of hassle. You use a pseudonym, and people don't, and at our demonstrations, people cover their faces. You're going to lose your job. You're going to lose your career. What you have to understand as well is many people, for example, people that I know, their bosses will be Muslim. This isn't everywhere. They're infiltrated everywhere at different levels. And this is a far left tactic, which is quite a successful tactic that they use to intimidate people into silence. But it's also quite encouraging when you have people, I feel, Milo this week, I think is brilliant. When I see someone who doesn't care, that's the attitude. When I see someone who just doesn't care, yeah, what anyone's going to say or do, I think it's brilliant. Yourself, I know it's not like you don't get scared, because if you walked through Luton, buddy, you'd get attacked. You'd get violently attacked. So it's not like it's not scary or intimidating, but it has to be done. And I always think that the more people that do it, the more inspiration it gives to others to do it. And all we're doing is telling the truth. But in the times that we're currently facing, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. That's it. That's where we're at. And everyone is scared. And I always say, when I walk through Luton and there's plenty of videos, I've been punched, I've been beaten, I've been attacked. That's why my local politician daren't say what I say. Because he probably quite enjoys walking through Luton and going across to coffee. Yeah? And that's the same with everyone. Most politicians, and I know from my experience, and I've been on to every debate show, every talk show in the UK, whether it be Newsnight, all of them. Yeah? Everywhere I go, I don't get a bad reception. And in fact, everyone shakes my hand and tells me to keep going. So I even know the people interviewing me, who when the camera's on, they're grilling me and giving me a hard time. But as soon as the camera's off, they're shaking my hand and saying they admire what I do. And because they're scared, because everyone's scared. And you said, like, there's more of a hoo-ha about, there is a very loud, prominent voice given to the far left, these apologists, these liberals, but they're not the majority at all. The majority of people in the UK have had enough of Islam and the effect it's going to have on our nation and our children's future. The majority of people. That's the reality. So we've been punching well below our weight for a long time, but we need to understand that we're on the majority side, not some minority. We've seen that even with the Brexit case and people trying to vote for Brexit, and the way they tried to turn that into a race issue, which it never was. It was a vote for culture, a vote for culture and identity before it was a vote for the economy, but which they kept crying on about. But yeah, I don't know. We are in big problems.
Well, I mean, the majority of Sikhs voted for Brexit. Are they racist right-wingers? I think the point to make is, it's an unfortunate term, but if we've got a target-rich environment where everybody is speaking out against Islam, there won't be so much pressure on people like you. It won't be as easy to demonize people like you, because, again, there'll be a lot more people speaking out. The load will be more balanced amongst those people, and they won't be able to isolate and attack us, both in terms of character assassination and actual assassination, actual death threats. Let's just finish up with this, though. I'm predicting next, and this is what Al-Qaeda have called for, their leader, they're going to start abducting and killing celebrities. That's their next big step up that they're going to do. You put out a tweet talking about Muslims gaining control of commercial airliners. Tell us about that, because we know they've got the jihadists actually working in secure areas of major airports throughout Europe, right?
What was it? In the hundreds before the Euro 2016. It was in the hundreds of Muslims who were on terror watch lists had got jobs in the Euro 2016 football tournament scene. We've seen, I believe it may be up to 30 or 40 police officers have been booted out in Paris alone due to their links to radical extremist organisations. It's only a matter of time because God forbid, you can't just sack them, which they don't. Yeah. For example, when we had the most extremist organisation, Al Mujahideen, when we had them protest against our armed forces in the UK, one of the main people was a baggage handler at Luton Airport. He was a baggage handler at Luton Airport. So how far away are we? That's why I said, how far away are we from a Muslim who, there are plenty of Muslim pilots now, ordinary Muslim pilots. How far away are we from one of them being switched on? Because that's all this is. They're switched on to their jihad, switched on to Islam, and taking down a passenger plane. And all these things, that's why we have to start putting in, which whether people say they're unfair laws or not, we have to put things in play that protect our citizens. And yeah, when you're on about celebrities as well, I think the next thing that's going to happen, and God forbid, you said, how long is it till people react? I believe in the Northern Ireland style conflict, there were 2 IRA bombings a day, 2 attacks a day when a paramilitary British terrorist organisation was set up. We don't want that. No one wants that. But our leaders, our political leaders, our politicians, they must start dealing with this problem. Because when you, as you said, when when you have a political platform or a process where you can demonstrate, that's what democracy is. When you're angry, you demonstrate. They try and take that away from you. Like, I face court. Think about this. In France, in Nice. Look at what happened in Nice. Look what happened today. I'm in court on September 19th in the UK for having a fuck ISIS flag. In France, not in the UK. So I was in France at a football game and I had my picture taken with a flag, and the British authorities come around my house, come in my house with my wife and children there, take me to court, and now I face charges where they're trying to give me a ban.
Okay. We are back. Final segment of the Alex Jones Show. Remember, tomorrow is Operation Sleeping Giant, the marathon historic 28-hour broadcast. Again, begins tomorrow. All the information is at infowars.com/giant. You can also support us by getting the products at infowarsstore.com. Now, Tommy reminded me of a story which happened, I think it was last summer here in London. There was a guy openly walking around Westminster and the Houses of Parliament draped in an ISIS flag. The police didn't even take him in for questioning. They let him go. Meanwhile, Tommy is over there at the Euro 2016 football tournament, has an F-ISIS flag, basically making fun of a terrorist organization, and now he's being charged. Tommy, tell us about that, and then in the final few minutes, just tell people how they can support you, how they can get your book and follow you on Twitter. Go ahead.
Cool. So, yeah, let's look at the reasons why the police and the authorities do this. In fact, I've got the police from Luton, the Beds police, have openly said, and I've got a recording of them saying it, that they've been forced to do this to me by the Home Office. So I'm in France. I have a Royal Marine, a black British Royal Marine, who has a flag, and he says, "Can I have his photo? I have my photo taken with him." I hold the flag out, and it has F-ISIS on the front of it. That's what, when I returned home from the football, from the Euros, my children come running upstairs crying their eyes out, Daddy, police are here, police are here. I go down, there's 3 police officers. So what are you doing in my house? They're there over this. And that's the comparison. People were walking around with ISIS flags in the UK, nothing. But the reason for this is all part of the same campaign you talk about, of intimidation. I said to them, you're here to intimidate me, to intimidate my family, to harass us into silence. And they've been trying it for 6 years. I don't know why they don't just give up, because no matter what they do or say or try to do, I'm not going to be silent, ever, in anything they try. They should just get that message and give up on it, but they don't. But it does cause me, whether they succeed, did they succeed? Yes, my children were crying. Yes, my wife was upset. Yes, it disrupts my home life. Yes, the next day, rather than going to see my mum in hospital, I have to go to the court. Now I have another court case pending again and again. It costs money, finance, and it takes up your time and your energy. And I know when I walk into that court, I'm never going to get convicted of anything. What have I done? I've done nothing. But they don't, by that time, they've already got a sentence out of you anyway, because for the last 6 years, I've had court case after court case after court case for stupid little things like this. But it all sort of weighs on your shoulders and causes you problems, and it's a strain on your life. And that's what they want to do. And
it's a chilling effect, isn't it? It prevents other people from saying the same kind of thing.
It does, yeah. It has the effect. People look at what they're doing. I had it in the early days of the EDL when they started kicking off my doors. I had my other friends stepping back. Well, I don't want my door kicked in. Even though they're kicking your door in for no reason and they're not charging you. But it has the effect. People see it. People feel fearful. It's like a police state. And, yeah, so I'm in court for that on September 19th. I'm actually quite looking forward to it now, if I'm honest, now, because I can't wait to see their argument. And now that the media have got involved, now that everyone's watching what's going on, I can't wait to see them try and argue that I shouldn't have a flag that says F-ISIS in France.
It's amazing. Tommy, we just got about 30 seconds left. Tell people how they can get your book, how they can find you on Twitter.
You can buy my book currently on Amazon. It's Tommy Robinson, Enemy of the State. It's on Kindle. You can download it in America. You can download it wherever you are. It's a story of my life. It tells the story of the state and the persecution that I faced for trying to tell the truth and identify and warn people of what we're now facing on a daily routine. I tried to warn prior to that. And you can follow me on Twitter. Tommy Robinson, New Era.
Okay, there goes Tommy Robinson. Thanks for joining us. Get the book. Again, it's Enemy of the State. Support Tommy. He's been harassed so much by police simply for speaking out against the religion of peace. That's going to wrap it up for today's edition of the Alex Jones Show. Remember, tomorrow is Operation Sleeping Giant, our historic 28-hour broadcast. All the information at Infowars.com/giant. That's going to wrap up the show. Thanks for joining.